But unfortunately, I have had to cancel my Firearms Forum Town Hall event. I did not want this to happen. I've done so much work already for free, always for free. But the situation was basically the venue wasn't comfortable holding an event of that nature. I think they were thought it was going to be a lot smaller. Perhaps they didn't think I could get all those high profile candidates that I did. I'm not too sure. And I understand that it is a risk when you, as a venue, if you or an organization, if you hold an event that goes against the state, right, and it goes against sensitive issues like gun laws, you are going to put yourself in a position where you are against what's going on and you're taking a stand for something. That's something that I'm very used to. I will never shy away from what I believe in and what I stand for. I try not to be offensive with it, but I'm not going to shy away from a fight just because I'm scared of something or scared of repercussions. And I understand that not everyone is in a position to do that. And when it comes to the fact that your venue or your organization receives funding from the state government and you are holding or you might be holding an event that directly goes against what the government's law is, you are putting yourself at risk. And that's the reality. That's the reality of not just shooting organizations in Australia, but some of the ranges too. Some of the ranges in Australia are on state government land. Like, we lease the land from the state government to hold our ranges at, which means when it comes to election time, you cannot be political because you are putting your lease of your range at risk. Similar thing with venues who are a bit unsure about holding a political event. They see it as a risk because they receive funding from the state government for whatever it may be, maintenance, air conditioning, you name it. So now you take that into account, and your organizations or your venue or your ranges are put in a position where you cannot use your right to political opinion anymore because it will come back and bite you. You will lose funding. You will lose a seat at the table. And that's what I've had to deal with. I know it seems obscene in a way. It's a town hall, it's an election, it's candidates running for office, it's part of the democratic process to have voters in a room talking about an issue that affects them. And in this case, it's firearms, which in WA affects 90,000 people, along with all the farmers, along with all of the family who's had to be the ear to listen to us be so upset. You cannot gather in a place to hear from the candidates because of the risk that it puts on whoever you want to choose, the venue, the organizations who were going to support it but started to back away. Even the candidates, I know a lot of them, because I have relationships with them and they know who I am, and I've gone to their events and I've made the effort as an individual, not as an organization, not as someone looking for anything except to hear what they stand for. They were going to come along, and Nick Gorian, I tip my hat to him because he was going against his own party leader, Libby Mettam, who has publicly said that she would not revoke the gun laws if Liberal win at the election. So he was coming along to talk about what he wants to do when it comes to the firearms laws. So I'm devastated. I'm devastated that once again I've tried my absolute hardest to put on something, to deliver something for shooters with the support of a shooting organization, when the support wasn't coming back to me the way that it was made out that it would. I will always sit down at the table when someone calls me and asks me for help with an issue when it comes to shooting and hunting. Those are my two passions, and those are the biggest grievances I have with the government in Australia, both federal and all the states and territories. And I know it's a minor issue. I have other issues too, but this is something I'm very passionate about as a shooter, as a hunter, as a child of someone who grew up learning how to shoot and hunt. It's my skill, it's my culture. I want to protect this so the next generation of Australians can learn these skills and be able to participate in our sport if they wish to. That's why I'm so passionate. So when it gets to the point where I cannot do what I'm trying to do because my own people are once again putting barriers in front of me that are just too high to jump over, or the support doesn't translate into doing more than just patting me on the back and saying you're doing a great job, which I do appreciate, but it does get to a point where it does demoralize you. And when I had this emergency meeting on Tuesday morning, I think it was, to tell me that there were risks involved with the event, it just resulted in the whole thing falling over, despite everything that I'd done in my own time for free to pull this together. So I'm sorry. I have refunded those who were coming to the event. You should be getting a refund. I actioned that today. I've spoken and talked to all the candidates about what happened, and they're disappointed too. They were really looking forward to fronting up, which good on them. That's what you should do as a candidate. Come and talk about something that I know is a sensitive issue or controversial issue. It shouldn't be, but it is. So I've spoken to them and emailed them. I can say that I'm going to be interviewing a lot of these candidates. I'm coming to Perth still on the 24th of February. That has not changed. Nothing can stop me getting to Perth. I swear I will be there on the 24th of February. So I've organised as a substitute the best I can do now that I don't have the support that I needed to get this event off the ground, including proper support to run a professional event in terms of funding, basically, because I've been organising this at my own expenses when I don't really have a lot of money coming in. I mean, I'm staying with my parents at the moment. Most people are aware of my situation. That's not a cry for sympathy. I'm just saying that that's how it is. But I am pleased to announce that I have booked in interviews with a lot of the candidates who were going to speak at that event. I do have Nick Gorian booked in for an interview, and his number 4, Phil Twiz, who is apparently a big shooter. I can't wait to meet him. I've never met him, but he's the real deal, I've been told. So I'll be interviewing them. Dr. Brian Walker from Legalised Cannabis Party, I'll be sitting down with him and his Secret Harbour candidate, Jim Matters, who I spoke to today. So I'm still going to be bringing you their views. I've talked to my mates at Shooters and Fishers Farmers Party, and they're definitely keen to organise something while I'm in town. And it has to be basically, I've already booked 2 interviews in for the 25th. I land 24th at night, and I'm booked in for 2 interviews Tuesday so far, because it's pre-poll. Pre-poll would have already started in WA. So I will be bringing you those interviews and the information and their views, because that was the whole point of the town hall, was what do you think about the gun laws and what are you going to do if you're elected? So I'll still be getting that information to shooters in the only way that I can, and that's by myself as an individual going out and doing that without having to once again be disappointed and let down by the organisations who seem to get in the way instead of giving me a leg up. So that's where we're at with the Firearms Forum Town Hall. I apologise again. I was quite upset Tuesday when I heard the news that it was not able to proceed without a lot of compromise and changes and things that just don't align with what I believe in. I'm the kind of person that once I've set my mind to something and I know what I can do to deliver the best event for people, which is what it should be. That's what voters deserve. That's what you deserve. That's what shooters deserve. Quite frankly, I'm not going to start negotiating away and taking on risks for venues and having that all put on me when all I'm trying to do is help.